What's up everyone, my name is Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty, and let's get in round 19's preview. It's going to be a very quick one today, so I'm going to try and rush through the games a little bit quicker than I normally do. So let's look at Geelong and the Dogs. This is tonight. Geelong just the one change, Smith in for Kirsten, and for the Dogs I got a few. Adcock, Hamling, Stringer, Dalhouse, and Cordy back in for Morris with a hamstring, Redpath with a knee, Wallace with a leg injury, and Suckling and Boyd both have Achilles injuries. So this is down at Simmons Stadium here. I feel like Geelong probably have the advantage just because of that reason. And the Dogs, they've sort of been playing really good football regardless of how many injuries they've had throughout the year. So they've had soldier in, soldier out kind of mentality. They've got Adcock coming back in to sort of help out that back line, as well as Hamling and Cordy can probably help a little bit in the ruck as well and maybe push forward. So it's going to be an interesting sort of setup for the Dogs. How well are they going to cope with these injuries? We will get to know. And sort of, you know, like Wallace comes in for Dalhouse. That's sort of a straight swap. Stringer in for like a Suckling kind of. I don't know, like Suckling's, his kicking's been pretty crap anyway lately. So they'll have to improve. But I think Geelong, they sort of turn up for these games where, you know, they're expected to, you know, to play against the top 8 side. That's normally when they turn up and play well. So I'm expecting them to do that again and win this one. Now we move to Saturday, the first game. We got the Giants versus the Tigers. Griffin and Kennedy, the only change for the Giants. The Tigers got 4 changes. Vickery, Lambert, Marcon, and Hooley come back in to that side. So Basher Hooley, first game since like round 4 or 5 for Richmond. And going out of that side, Shane Edwards with a calf, Ben Griffiths with a groin, McBean and Castagna have both been omitted from the side. But I thought Castagna was pretty good, but I'd like to see Marcon come in and make his debut. I saw him talk a couple of weeks ago. He was very, very impressive to listen to, and I'd just like to see more of him. So can't wait to see him play. But I think the Giants, they've got top 2 on the line. There's too much for them. They're going to just destroy Richmond here and could even increase their percentage better than it is, and they're already the best percentage team in the competition. Moving along, Hawthorn played Carlton now. MCG on Saturday afternoon. Langford in for Puopolo with a hip. And Carlton have Everett come in for Kerner. Now, Carlton have been pretty impressive over the last couple of weeks. Only losing by a goal to both West Coast and who was it the week before? Oh, those Sydney as well last week. So they've been pretty close, but they haven't quite been able to take an opportunity. I still think they might get close enough to Hawthorn, but Hawthorn are just a champion side, and they'll get the win here. It doesn't really matter how well Carlton play. I just think Hawthorn can just turn it on like that and just blitz teams, as we saw last week in the 4th quarter against Richmond. Now, moving along, this is Twilight. This is going to be a huge game because this is Collingwood and the West Coast Eagles. Wills, Crockett, and DeGoey come in for Fasolo, Blair, and Sinclair. Out with concussion again, Ben Sinclair. So that's pretty disappointing for him. I think they should just sort of rest him out for the rest of the year. I don't think they need to risk him any further than they already have. And for the Eagles, Schofield, Hutchings, Sheed, and Tunbridge in for Redden, Giles, Barras, and Nelson for the West Coast Eagles there, sorry. So, another test for the Eagles at the MCG. I think Collingwood, if they rock up like they did against the Giants a couple of weeks ago, they'll win this game. I'm picking Collingwood as my outsider this week. They're going to win against the West Coast Eagles because the West Coast Eagles struggle at the G. That's what they do. So I think Collingwood could pull off a huge upset here. Moving along now, we've got Brisbane and Port Adelaide. Louis Taylor, Michael Close, Robertson, Smith and Skinner could make their debut. Oh, no, they are going to make their debuts for the Lions. Shaki, William, Ruben William, that is, Steph Martin, Darcy Gardner and Ryan Buick all out for the Brisbane side. They take on Port Adelaide, who bring in Amon and Cracker for Kane Mitchell and Jay Schultz. So, Brisbane finally got a win last week against the Bombers. They might actually make it 2 in a row here because Port Adelaide, they've been playing, obviously they're missing a number of players there, but Port Adelaide, their season's sort of shot. You'd think that they would try and win this game. You never know, they might win this game. If they do win the game, then there is still a slim possibility of them making finals, but it's very highly unlikely because they've got a number of top 8 sides to play coming before the end of the year. But now, final Saturday game, Saturday night. This is the game of the round. North Melbourne versus St Kilda. I cannot wait for this one. Waite in for Dorr and Minchington in for Sinclair. On either side, it's just going to be huge. I think St Kilda, they've got all the momentum their way. They've come off a couple of good wins, and now they're charging towards that top 8 spot. And North Melbourne, they're sort of just teetering, and their momentum's sort of going downhill. They steadied the ship with a win last week, but it's going to be difficult to see them progressing further than the first week of the finals if they do even make it there. So I'm going for St Kilda to win this one. I think that their time is now. This is the moment. They will be very determined in this game, St Kilda, and they will put on a very good performance. Whether or not they win, yet to be determined, but I hope they get over the line in that one. Moving on to Sunday, Melbourne and the Gold Coast Suns. This is at the MCG. Garland, Bug and Vandenberg in for Rosa. Oh, for no one yet, because they're just squads. And for the Suns, Rosa, McKenzie and Lemons also into that 25-man squad. This is another intriguing game because the Gold Coast, they're a pretty good side. They've had a couple of good players come back into their side, then they've had a couple of those other good players go out of that side. So it's going to be difficult to see. They haven't really had a settled sort of team for the majority of the year, but who knows? They might be able to pinch a win here against the D's, but I think the D's at home are probably just a little bit too strong for the Gold Coast at this point in time, with a couple of many injuries at the Gold Coast Suns still. Now let's go on to the second last game of the round. This is at Domain Stadium. Pavlich is playing game 350 this week. He was going to play last week, got rested. De Boer and I didn't even mention Boomer's record-breaking game, but I don't really bother with that. But it's an amazing achievement. Ridiculously good. So Pavlich, De Boer, Tucker, Hanneth, Hughes and Silvani into the squad for Griffith, Blakely and Subin. And for the Swans, McVeigh, McGlynn, Nankervis and Richards in for Calm Sinclair. So Sydney will win this one. Although you never know with Fremantle. They might turn up, and Sydney, same with them, they might not turn up. So Pavlich could get a win in his 350th, but I think the Swans will get over the line in that one. Final game of the round, the Adelaide Crows I don't even need to look at the teams. The Adelaide Crows are going to get a huge percentage boost here, and this is going to be critical to them making the top 4. So this is going to be a huge game for them against the Bombers. They just need to win and win really well, and I think that they can do that because that's sort of the powerhouse they are. They're missing Walker and Henderson, but I think that they are going to be a very, very formidable force in the final series, and they should make top 4 if they get an extraordinary percentage boost here today. So thank you guys so much for watching today's preview. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Sorry it was a little bit rushed, but I am really cut short for time. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.